Hello, Theater 101 class. This is Brad. I'm here today to talk with Jackie Shelley, the costume shop manager here at Ohio Wesleyan University, about what she thinks about and what her process is for designing costumes for a show. Now, for instance, Jackie is the costume designer for the show that I am directing in the winter called Eurydice by Sarah Ruhl. So, Jackie, talk to us a little about what your process is like as you design costumes for a show.
Okay, well, first there's designers and the director, anybody else, your stage manager. You all collaborate together, so you read the show. First time it's supposed to be for enjoyment. However, I get nitpicky, so I mark things first time through. Second time through, I really start to underline and take notes. So if there's a time of year or a certain season, a period, then it has a certain look. However, this, with Eurydice, it's somewhat fantasy because you have normal life and then you have Hades. So the world is very different. And of course, I have to talk with the director, which is you, when it comes to what the costume should look like, and then colors. So a lot of times I will take books. If it's fantasy, I'll go into like comic books, children's books, and a lot of fairy books because they give you a lot of colorful visuals. So that's what I like. And then there's always your secondary and your factual information. So you have to have at least 3 good sources of factual information. And secondary comes in later on so that you have more of a variety to look at and use and work with.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to want to be a costume designer?
I have a very full background in the arts. My mother put me in dance at age 4, so I carried out dance up into my 30s. I've always had an art background since about 4th grade, and how I learned to draw was I had an instructor that would give me a Time magazine, and you know how people are on the cover of Time magazine, so I had to sit there and draw it until it looked exactly like the cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. I also took my drawing into painting as a minor at Oakland University, which is in Michigan. So that helps me with my background too, because a lot of times if it's a show that's not current or modern, you end up having to draw the characters. Modern day, you can pretty much just pick things out. You can either have the actor bring it in, you can take from storage, or you can just go Goodwill shopping.
So there's a fair amount of creativity involved with putting things together on your own, but also research. And sometimes a theater has costume storage where costumes that have been used in the past can be reused again for shows, because in a professional theater you want to be creative, but you also want to be cost effective as much as you possibly can. So that's a big part of what's going on.
And sometimes too, depending on how extensive the costume is, if I can find something in the back and alter it, I will do that too.
Yeah, definitely. And then you went to Ohio State for graduate work.
Went to Ohio State University, and I got my degree was in costume design.
Yeah, so there's a lot of education that goes into all aspects of theater, and costume design is no different. Jackie mentioned a really important word there, which is collaboration. If you remember, we're talking about how everybody has to work together on a specific production, almost like their rowing crew. If you've ever seen people rowing a boat, all of the people have to be rowing a boat in the same direction for the boat to go where it wants to go. So the costume designer starts with their ideas, and once they've been sort of agreed to by the director and everybody involved, you'll progress to renderings, which are what are called pictures that the costume designer will literally create of what a specific costume will look like in a specific scene or in a specific moment. And then once that's okay, it's on to putting it together and fitting it onto the actors when that gets there, right?
Sometimes it takes one fitting, sometimes it takes several fittings.
Yeah, and depending on how complicated the costume is, it may take some time to get it to an effective place for the production. What's the most complex costume you've ever designed, Jackie?
Probably for one of Shakespeare's shows where I had to make a garment look wet. So I had to choose certain fabrics that looked like they had a wet look under light.
Okay. So yeah, a lot goes into getting a particular look for a particular scene in a particular moment of a show. And to finish off, Jackie, what's something that you love about costume design? Like what brings you enjoyment from doing it?
I love creating.
Creating.
I like seeing the whole totality of it come to fruition at the very end. And when you see it on the stage, that's where you feel really good.
Yeah, great, cool. Well, I hope you got something and learned something from a brief chat with Jackie Shelley, expert costume designer here at Ohio Wesleyan. All right, so thanks very much, guys.